Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
Hello, Internet. We are back on the Intalksicated podcast. Realized the other day that I've never introduced myself on this podcast, which is weird. I've only ever put it, in the notes and the descriptions. But hi, my name is Sarah. And that's all you're going to get. This week's guest is my good friend Ryan. Now, Ryan is one of the nicest guys I know, but he does have some hilarious stories, so I had to have him on. He's such a good friend, and we do talk about, some breakup stories, some stories involving a accidental sex tape, so things get pretty interesting, and I think you guys will really, really dig it. And just a quick note to let you guys know that my other podcast, Intalksicated Reviews, is officially up on iTunes and Google Play. So if you're into the TV movie aspect of things, you can go subscribe over there. Hope you stay for both, obviously, but if you're more into the movies and the TV stuff, you can subscribe on iTunes and Google Play as of now. So hope you guys do that. We are reviewing season 3 of The Leftovers right now, but obviously lots more to come. I actually have a 13 Reasons Why episode planned for probably Monday, so that should be very interesting. As always, remember to like the podcast on Facebook and Instagram at Intoxicated Podcast and on Twitter at _toxicated. Now, in terms of social media, we are going to just kind of keep everything under one account. But in terms of the actual feed, Intoxicated Reviews is a separate feed. So if you're into that and you want to get those episodes, make sure you are subscribed. And of course, make sure you are subscribed to this podcast, Intoxicated Podcast. And I really, really would love to get some feedback from you guys. So, what have you liked so far about the podcast? What would you want to hear more of? What kind of topics do you kind of want me to cover? Because, I do want to know what you guys want. So I would love a review or even some comments. It would be extremely helpful. But I'm going to shut up now. Let's get to me and Ryan. Hi, guys. We are here with Ryan.
Hello.
You don't want to go by a fake name or anything?
No fake names. I don't think I have anything that bad.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say that exactly. But no fake names. But Ryan, can you just briefly talk about this drink and what you've picked?
So I've picked Mama Juana.
Mama Juana.
And if you look it up on the old Wikipedia, they say it's like an aphrodisiac, but I've never had that experience with it. But it's basically you get a mix of sticks and herbs.
Any sticks?
I don't know, Dominican plants.
Jungle sticks?
It comes from the Dominican Republic, so I'm assuming something local to there. It's a bunch of sticks and herbs. You mix in red wine, rum, and honey, and just let it sit.
And for how many weeks did you let this sit? Was this because it was a couple of weeks ago that we talked about doing this?
Yeah, and my parents went to the Dominican Republic like 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
Before Christmas, I think.
Right.
And no, it would have been about March.
Okay.
And yeah, early March. So They brought this back. I asked for it because I had it once when I was in Dominican Republic when I was like 16. And they brought it back, and the only way to get it through customs is to actually pre-mix it and then bring it through. So they pre-mixed it, they brought it through, and it's been sitting in my fridge ever since.
Damn. So let's do a cheers. I'm going to try this. Wow.
It's not bad.
That is interesting. It's like Let me just...
It kind of looks like if you hold it up to the light, it kind of looks like a Caesar.
It kind of looks like sangria, almost. Like red wine sangria.
Yeah.
But it has this, like... I can taste the red wine. I can't really taste the rum, but I can definitely taste the sweet of the honey. Wow. I gotta say, you officially get the reward for the most unique alcohol so far. Well, actually, we drank scotchka for one episode. That was a mixture of scotch and vodka. Oh,
but this is probably... sounds like a bad hangover.
Oh, yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I did not enjoy it. I mean, the boys had no trouble with it, because, boys, you guys drink, like, scotch and shit, and you like it's a thing for you guys. Me, it's like... I fucking hate that shit. It's like jet fuel.
It's one of those things, you gotta get used to it.
Yeah.
And I find... if it's a really bad quality one, I'll get like the worst heartburn on earth, and I'll be like, nope, this has to stop right now.
Exactly. So. Yeah. This is interesting though. So and you're not a huge drinker nowadays.
I brew my own beer, but
like
I'll have like 3 or 4 beers in a week.
Yeah.
And so like brewing beer, I'll get 60 beer out of it, and it'll last me for a stupid long amount of time.
Right. So would you say, like, if you were to pick a poison, beer would be it, probably?
Probably.
Yeah.
I've gotten more into just different types of beer in the last, like, probably 2 months.
Right.
So I'll actually go and I'll get a growler filled at, a local place, and I'll drink that on a weekend instead of, like...
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, there's so many varieties of beer.
I mean, I went from, I would always just, all right, give me a Rickard's Red at a bar, and...
Right.
And now I'm trying like a bunch of local stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all pretty good.
But, so we got the drink. So normally, well, I say this every fucking time. We're going to start with a friendship origin story like we always do. So we would have met, would it have been
2016 or 2017?
No, it was 2016 was just last
2006.
year. I only met you last year.
You know what? It's probably like 2012, 2013.
Yeah, I would say around then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know you when I was with my ex.
No.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, so I would say 2012.
Yeah. It was when Redden was living above the pizza place.
Yeah. Okay. Is that when we met?
I think so.
Because I know it was at a party.
Yeah.
And I know that I think I had met you, and then like some time had passed, and I think I re-met you somewhere, and then we became Facebook friends and stuff.
Like the way people usually be friends nowadays.
I know, it's crazy how much like parties and drinking like brings people together, and then like you just form friendships with people you randomly meet at house parties, and then you just have your own thing. Like, because I remember when I met you, I was like, oh, he seems like a really cool guy. He probably won't enjoy hanging out with me. And then we totally stayed friends.
Yeah.
I think it was probably because like chatting on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
I think developed it more.
It's one of those things you see some people, like we used to have, what was it, every month we would have like the Cake Friday.
Can we bring that back?
I wish.
I know.
But I think we were all younger and like
more crazy.
Mid-20s, like drinking all the time, and like, so I would always see people at like the Cake Fridays, and I would get trashed.
Yeah, these parties were parties based around the fact that it was Friday, but usually it was someone would bring a cake, or a very big cake.
Yeah, it was like the first Friday of
every
month, and then like somebody would bring a cake, and
it would just be an excuse to get drunk.
I don't think the cake really ever got eaten.
I don't think I've ever had cake on Cake Friday.
Yeah, well.
But I've certainly gotten very drunk on Cake Fridays.
Yep.
But yeah, no. So it's funny because I kind of started this podcast being like, oh, friendship origin stories are like a thing, and it's like sometimes there's not like really a story with it. It's just we met and started talking, and the rest is history.
Well, it's one of those things like we started talking at these parties,
right?
And there'd be other parties throughout the month. Like usually I'd be going to at least 2 or 3 a month, and like there are some people you only see at parties.
Yeah.
And then there are other people that you're like, oh, I actually like this person. I'll talk to them outside parties.
Of a party, yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened with us.
Yeah.
And then there was a particular birthday that you brought a friend. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Oops.
I think you and I can both agree, though, that as two people who are just friends, and, you know, I think, like, you've had a lot of girlfriends in the times that I've known you. But, like, for the most part, when we're single, together, we try to help each other out.
Yeah.
We do.
You get a wingman for each other.
Yeah, it's kind of like, and I appreciate that because not many of my friends have done that.
Yeah.
And you've done that for me a couple times.
I think with that particular situation, I was talking to some people and I wanted to almost double wingman. So I was playing for both teams there. I was playing for his team a little bit.
And my team.
And then I'd like, you know, whisper a suggestion in one person's ear, whisper a suggestion in another person's ear.
That's it. We won't name names, but essentially what happened was it was my birthday and Ryan brought a friend. And I remember you texting me being like, I'm thinking about bringing so-and-so. And I was like, yeah, you should definitely bring him. And I was like very like... And then, you were kind of, you double wingmaned.
And he was recently single as well. So I was like, I'm going to see if I can make this work.
Perfect. I'm the perfect rebound. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, because that was at your old place, right?
That was at Jesse's apartment. That was at Jesse's when he lived on Barrington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did have a party at one of your places where, like, was that the one where you hid in a closet?
Oh my God, that's a funny story, actually. Oh my God. This one night. And that's another thing we should mention, too. We lived in the same building at one point. Yeah. So there was a period of time, a couple of years...
Yeah.
That we lived in the same apartment complex.
I was there 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the first times that you had people over because I forget my apartment number. It was like 50 whatever, and yours was what? Was
208.
Like, so I was 508, you were 208.
Yeah.
And it was literally like I was in bed and you had people over and I could hear your voice from like 4 stories up, and I just yelled, "Shut up, Sarah!"
I heard you yelling, "Shut up!" And I remember there was times that like I think I put something on Facebook once about being loud, and then Ryan literally writes, "I can hear her right now."
Yeah.
Because I think it was you were in my building, and Karen and Neve were living in this building. Yeah, that was fucking ballin'. Like I always say, like, the ideal situation is for everyone to have their own apartment, like one bedroom, but all live in the same complex or area. Because you have your own space, but then your friends are so close. Yeah. So if I ever win the lottery, I want to create an apartment complex and make all my friends move there. Okay. That's highly unrealistic.
As long as I have a spot for a workshop.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that, because I think that's something that's interesting about Ryan, is that I think that you're, like, I would call you like a hobby addict.
Yeah. Yeah, I have like a million hobbies.
You have so many hobbies. And I just now learned that you brew your own beer. I never even knew that about you. So add it to the fucking list. So, so talk about all the fucking things you do. You do so much.
Oh, where do I start?
Where do you start?
So I 3D print. Mm-hmm. I have 2 3D printers at home. I don't really run them that often now because I'm in a spot where I have a shared office with my roommate, and 3D printers are loud. So I haven't done that in a while, but you know, I'll pick it up again. I build things. I do like dabble in carpentry. I built my own blacksmith forge.
Yep. No big deal.
No big deal. Just learned it on YouTube. Whatever. Yeah. And that's the funny thing is, like, I have all these hobbies, and I'm bored, so I go on YouTube and I'm just like, what can I learn today? And it's like, oh, I'll learn how to build a robot. Okay.
Yeah, guess I'll do that. And you're building an Ant-Man costume right now?
I am. So I work with Halcon.
Yes. Shout out to Halcon.
And as part of that, I'm their operations manager, so during the year I do things like order all the pipe and drape and do the layouts for the convention and work on like policies and like security policies and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm also on their street team. So that's why I am building the Ant-Man costume, is because we go to charity events.
Right.
And there's nothing kids like more than like going to a charity event and seeing like Superman or Batman or
right,
like any of these superheroes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's perfect.
So I'm doing that. I'm building it with my brother. He does a lot of cosplay stuff.
He does Batman, doesn't he?
He does Batman.
That's crazy.
So it was one of those things where there's so many different costumes. There's like 30 or 40 of us, and depending on what event, they'll show up at different times. They'll come up with different costumes.
Yeah.
And I was trying to pick something that was popular that nobody else had done.
And that's a great one for it, because you really don't see a lot of Ant-Man.
No, and I mean, it's probably because the costume is so friggin' complex to do. Like, I had to buy motorcycle leathers from Pakistan. I had to buy a helmet from China.
Jesus.
I had to 3D print a bunch of parts. I'm building the belt and backpack and shoes and stuff like that out of foam. So there's a lot that goes into it, and
it's planning too, because if you're like, okay, I want to wear this costume at this Helicon, I need to start like now. Like, you need to plan fucking ahead.
And that's exactly it.
Hard.
Is you plan, like, I have to have this costume done by the 30th of this month.
Yeah.
Because there's a charity event at the end of the month, and I told myself I would go.
Yeah.
And I haven't finished it before this point because procrastination.
Of course, it happens.
And so, yeah, I'm just slowly starting to get it all done now.
It's insane how much you do, though. Like, you have so many hobbies. I remember, like, there was one time that I don't remember why. I was in a bad spot, like a bad fucking depressive spot.
Yeah.
And you were like, Sarah, we're going to Michael's.
Yep.
And
I tried to get you into a hobby. I was like, what do you want to do? You want to do knitting or?
Any hobby. Pick a hobby. You get a hobby. Everyone gets a hobby. And I think I picked it was like knitting or something. And I bought all this stuff and I never ended up doing it.
Yeah. That's
still have it in my room. Like,
that's one of those things, like, one of my friends, she was showing, I'm a big Legend of Zelda fan. And
yes,
she was
Zelda, the video game with the character Link.
Yes. You got it.
I got it! Nerd reference that I understood.
Yeah, you've I remember one time you were little segue, but I remember one time you're like, "Oh yeah, you named your cat after that character, Lynx?" His name is Lynx, right?
In all fairness, that's only one letter off.
Yeah.
And Link is a weird, like, Lynx sounds better than Link.
Yeah, shut up.
I'm just joking. I love your cat so much. But yeah, it just for whatever reason, when I go to say it, it doesn't roll off the tongue.
It doesn't. It
naturally.
It's that hard end.
Yeah, Link. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So anyways, a friend of mine was showing off this big cross stitch that she was doing, and it was the big world map from Legend of Zelda. And I was like, "How much can I pay you to make me one of these?" And she's like, "Well, I'll just make it for you, and you just buy me the materials." I was like, "Cool. When can I get it?" She's like, "Well, this one took me about 9 months."
Oh my god.
And I have 3 more that I have to do.
So a long time.
So I was like, "Cool. Let's go to Michael's, and you can just teach me how to do it." So
crazy.
Yeah,
you just learned.
It's just like, all right, teach me the basics, and I learned how to cross stitch from wanting to do something and not wait 9 months plus for a thing I can hang on my wall.
And then you can do more. You can make whatever you want going forward because you have that skill. Yeah. I think that's a certain personality type, though. Like, would you say that you're like I didn't know you when you were in high school, but were you like an A type personality guy? Like, were you part of all the clubs and like?
No,
really,
not at all.
Okay, that's shocking to me. I would have thought that you would have been.
I hung out with all the goth kids.
What? It makes sense, I guess. Your music taste.
I hung out with all the goth kids until I dated one and then broke up with one, and then that whole group hated me.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So begins the breakups.
That one wasn't as messy as
some that you've
some
had.
of the other ones that we'll probably discuss.
Fuck yeah. We're gonna
but no, I was I was that kid that, you walk around at lunchtime and talk to all the different social groups, and then I would sit down with my social group and hang out with them. Like, Yan was part of my social group.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if you met Cameron, but Yan, Cameron, and our friend Jeremy, and there are few other people, but we would.
But you were goth kids? So,
No. So I was goth kid-ish up until grade 11.
Okay, yeah.
And I wasn't like, I wouldn't wear spikes and all that stuff, and I wouldn't do makeup. I would just wear dark clothes.
Right.
And then I broke up with that girl, and then I'm like, well, I guess I can wear normal jeans now.
So were you kind of doing it to fit in? Or were you doing it because was it kind of a combination of, like, you liked it, but you also wanted to fit into that group?
It's a little bit, a little bit of both.
I think in high school everything is, though.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
deep down.
I mean, compared to high school, I'm a completely different person. Like, I was the shyest person on earth.
Really?
I'm still pretty shy, but...
You're shy. I wouldn't call you, like, the shyest. But, like, you're not... You don't enter a room like, I'm in the room! Everyone look at me!
I'm an introvert, but sometimes I have extrovert qualities.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You like to socialize.
Yeah. And, I mean, like, I like to socialize, and sometimes I'll go to a party, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm right at home here. Other times I'll go to a party, and I'm like, nope, get me the fuck out.
Right? Isn't it crazy how that works? It's just like you walk in a room, and it's like, it's all about the energy, I think. You get it.
Yeah.
Like, I think I would rather walk into a party and have it be, like, a rager with, like, a lot of stuff going on. Like, rather than walk into, like, a party with a couple people, like, you know, say 10 people just all sitting around. Like, that's intimidating to me. Like, and I don't know.
There are some parties where you can kind of get away from everybody. Like, I remember this one party I went to in Sackville where it was, like, a super rager. Like, there were at least 80 people in this house. And the owner of the house had a dog. And the dog was in the master bedroom. So I went and I hung out in the master bedroom. And there were, like, 2 other people there just chilling out with this dog. And I love both of those people now.
It's like the social anxiety room.
Yeah. And, I mean, I ended up dating one of those people. Not quite dating, but we had a thing for a while. But
look at your face! You just went off into memory there.
No, it's one of those things I kind of had to figure out what it was in my own head. But we had a thing for a while, and I still talk to them to this day. And and it's just like I didn't want to be social that day, but I still made friends and had a good time.
There you go.
Yeah,
I think it's like those people that you latch onto at parties. You're like, okay, I can get down with your energy, and then and it's usually those people who end up like you said, staying your friends outside of drinking, kind of thing. But you have a lot of talents. You've done cooking.
Yeah, I was a chef for, I mean, if you count before cooking school and after cooking school, like all the high school jobs and all that, 7 years.
Yeah, and he's fucking good at it too, guys. Like it. Yeah, it's funny. I feel like so much of our Facebook chats are me being like, Ryan, is this food gone bad? How do I tell if this food has gone bad or not? Like, I feel like I ask you, like, the stupidest questions. And he always responds quickly with, like, answers that, like, you could find on Google. Like, you know your shit.
Maybe I just Google it.
You're like the Google of my friend group.
Yeah.
No way.
No, I mean, it's one of those things. Food has always clicked with me.
Oh,
it's just,
fuck yeah.
It's not a career that is worth pursuing.
No, I know so many people who, like, have done that.
Yeah.
And then got out of it and being like, okay, I now have an office job that's 9 to 5 and I don't have to work 70 hours a week.
I have an office job. I work 9 to 5. I work hard, but I get paid literally 4 times more than I got in restaurants.
Insane. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to worry about making $9 an hour at a restaurant anymore.
It's crazy to me how little they pay people who do that. I'm like,
oh, it's bad.
You're literally feeding people. Like, it's one of the most essential things in life is for people to survive by eating, and you're paying them shit. Yeah. But one skill that you have that I think we should talk about is your ability to avoid vases being thrown at you. Or did you avoid it? Or
I avoided it.
Okay, do we want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, how far back in that relationship do we go?
I mean, how long did you date?
I want to say it's like 6 months or 9 months. It was in between that area there.
All right, let's go back to the very beginning.
Okay. So I had just been broken up with, and it was one of those situations where there was definitely some overlap between my ex's still current boyfriend, and me.
Right.
So I was devastated, and I was also very upset because I only really found out later.
So you were dating and you found out about the overlap?
I found out after we broke up.
Oh.
So I was devastated.
That's what
because this was a person that, you know, one of those things you think you're gonna go the distance, and but anyways, that's not this story.
Right.
So my buddy Kevin, I was best man at his wedding. He knows me like nobody else. He's like, I got this perfect girl for you.
Oh God.
And we go on a double date. Him, his wife, me, and vase thrower, we'll call her.
Yeah, vase thrower. Yeah.
We go on a double date to Boston Pizza.
Lovely.
You know, things went well, and you know, we got along and all that, and short of it, we started dating. I'd say 4 months went by. Pretty much like things are great. We get along. We go camping together. We're having a great time. And then I don't know what happened, but something happened.
Oh my God. Looks like PTSD coming back. They're like just something. It's like a twig snapping in the forest.
Yeah.
And I'll say too, like I've known you through a lot of girlfriends, and I think it's safe to say that you're a hopeless romantic in a way.
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing. So am I. Like, I mean, I haven't dated a lot of people, but I think you and I are both people who we really want that. Like, and I think you talk about it. You're like, yeah, this is great. This could be it. And I was like, and then something happened. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like.
And what I kind of really found out fast with this one is she was really friggin' jealous and had major anger problems.
Yeah.
I do remember she was hanging out with a couple of our friends, and somebody had made a comment about one of our mutual friends being attractive.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I could see that.
Oh, I know who this was. Yeah.
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 And vase thrower.
How dare you think another girl is pretty?
She was not okay with that. I was like, I had to clarify to her at least 30 times in that relationship. No, I'm not attracted to this person. Yes, she is objectively pretty.
Yeah.
But please don't throw a vase at me. I didn't say that to her, but so yeah, every time that we fought, she would bring up something like that. Like, one of my best friends on earth is a female.
Yeah.
And if ever I was talking to her, she'd be like, who are you talking to? Why are you talking to that slut? And I was like, listen, you do not call her a slut.
Jesus Christ.
This is like, she is listed as my sister on Facebook.
Right.
So
yeah,
we fought a lot, and I mean, she had anger problems outside of our relationship. Like, I was helping her move into a place with her best friend, and we got to her parents' place because she was living in her parents' basement at the time, and her parents were like helping pack up her stuff and all this stuff, and she just snapped. Yes. And it's like, why are you guys pushing me out of the house? Why are you packing up all my stuff? Do you really want me gone that quickly? And
Jesus.
During that, I was like calmly, like cool, collected, like taking her TV off the wall because it was wall mounted, and like putting stuff in boxes, and she was like taking stuff and biffing it into the back of her truck. Shit. Or in the back of her car.
Hulk mode.
Yeah. And like, I took her TV off the wall. I gently placed it into the back of her car. She comes in behind it. She had this big, heavy glass lamp.
Oh, God.
And just biffed it right into her trunk.
Did the TV break?
Oh, yes.
Shut up. She broke her own TV.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, I had like a blanket over it and everything to try to protect it.
Right.
And so she biffed it into the back of her trunk, shut the trunk, and got in her car, started her car, and I had to like jump and run, and like the door wasn't even closed by the time she hit the gas. Like she was out of there.
Jesus.
So she definitely broke her TV.
So this anger wasn't directed at anyone, like...
It
just happened out of nowhere. It was, like, misdirected entirely.
It was out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So she was angry because she thought her parents were trying to get rid of her. Instead, they were trying to help her move.
Yeah.
Like,
how old was she at this point?
I think she was, like, 25.
Yeah,
27,
like,
something like that.
Isn't that normal to want to...
You would think. During that whole thing, her brother's dog got in the way of her little rampage, and she punched it in the ribs. A pit bull, by the way.
What the heck?
There are a few situations in this relationship where I was like, I should have got out of there then.
Yeah, and that might have been one of them.
That would have been one of them.
Yeah, we don't like people who are bad to animals in any way.
So we dated for a little bit longer, and we ended up adopting a greyhound together.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What?
So
okay, but I remember seeing pictures of the greyhound.
I still have pictures of the greyhound on my friggin' phone.
I didn't realize you guys adopted the dog together.
Yeah.
Shit.
So she had this little shitty thing. It was a Chihuahua Yorkie mix.
Mm-hmm.
And so we adopted this greyhound. And when you adopt a greyhound, you got to make sure it's good with other pets. You got to make sure, because greyhounds have high prey drives. So we found this perfect dog. It was good with cats. It was good with small dogs.
Yeah.
It was adorable. I still love that dog.
I love greyhounds. Like, it's
and it was enough it would put enough oppression on me that I was like, this is the type of dog I want when I get a dog.
They have such a good like temperament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to get a Whippet because they're basically the same dog but shorter and
Yeah.
a little bit more energy, but that's fine with me.
Yeah.
So we adopted this dog together, and everything was going good. It had really bad separation anxiety, so it would get upset and make a mess everywhere when we're gone. I mean, we did the whole crate training thing and all that. And when we had just broke her of that, it would probably be no more than 2 weeks in. The dog was up on the bed with us and just like relaxing, just because we didn't put her in the kennel at night as much, but just up on the bed relaxing. And then her shitty dog kept, I mean, she was picking on the poor thing the entire time.
God.
So got up in her face and was like, you know, being a horrible dog, like snapping and like growling and all that. And it was enough that the greyhound was just like, I had enough of this, and growled and snapped. Didn't make contact, anything like that.
Yeah.
Of course, vase thrower. Decided this was a perfect time to start throwing punches at the other dog.
What the fuck is with her punching dogs?
I have no idea.
We should call her Dog Puncher too.
Yeah.
Like that's Jesus.
So put her in the kennel, and she's like, we're taking this dog home tomorrow. Or taking this dog back tomorrow. So we had to drive out to like the middle of the valley, and we took this poor thing back. It was like a greyhound rescue place.
Jesus.
And I should have broke up with her then, because we broke up like 3 days later.
Did you try to argue it? Like, did you try to talk her out of returning the dog, or was there no logic?
There was no logic behind it. It was just like,
like those types of people, you can't throw logic at them, because
so I should have broke up with her then and just adopted that dog, because I fucking love that dog.
God damn, yeah.
But I didn't. Yeah. And we argued for the next like 3 days, and then I casually mentioned, I mean, we had started to get better, and then I casually mentioned that I was going to be hanging out with that female best friend that I was talking about.
Right.
A week and a half before we were supposed to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And she just started going off, and she's like, that slut again, what the fuck are you doing? And like, she's at that point, my best friend had been in a relationship for 8 years.
Yeah.
So it's not like she's going to leave her boyfriend of 8 years to sleep with me.
Nothing's ever happened.
No.
Jesus, you guys were always friends.
We've always, since early high school, we've been just really good friends.
Yeah.
So she started going off, and I was like, listen, you can't say this stuff about her. She's really important to me. And
yeah.
I forget what actually led to her throwing the vase, but I was just like, I'm leaving. And then she picks up a vase, throws it. I dodge off to the side. It hits the door. And
just
I'm like,
like
cool.
in the movies.
Now I'm definitely leaving.
Oh my God.
I walked downstairs. I grabbed a couple of board games and stuff like that I had left there, and got in my car and took off.
Yeah, you're like, fuck. And I think I remember you texting me, or like, I remember hearing about this.
Yeah.
You're like, I just had a vase thrown at me.
Yeah. And add insult to injury, it was like I had gone and I got her a really nice flower that was in this nice vase.
Dear God.
And that was what she threw.
It's like, I don't... Listen, I understand human emotion and when you get angry. But Ryan, Ryan is like a Labrador puppy. Like, it would be like throwing something at a Labrador. Like, you're the nicest guy.
I don't want to start fights.
You don't come off as this, like, guy who's, like, at all mean-spirited or at all trying to hurt anyone. Like, so I don't understand the idea of trying to hurt you.
And that's the thing is,
you're such a gentle dude.
I don't fight. I don't like fighting.
No.
But I will defend myself.
Hell yeah, you will.
So if somebody's picking at me nonstop, I'll just be like, you need to stop. Yeah. We're going to talk about this like adults.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means you get a vase thrown at you.
And then that was it. Did you talk to her after that?
I never talked to her after that. She deleted her Facebook. She deleted both me and my friend Kevin from like everything.
Yeah.
Still to this day, she doesn't have a Facebook.
No way.
But
or maybe she has you blocked.
She might have me blocked. I don't know.
Yeah. Fuck you, Ryan. How dare you try to be a good boyfriend?
Yeah. Well, to add insult to injury, there's the whole thing of trying to get your stuff back.
Oh, breaking up is hard enough.
She had shown up at my parents' place at one point and just like dropped like boxes of my stuff like in the front yard. And I was out with my parents and I had my car parked there. I come back and what do I see on the side of my car? Key marks.
Oh my God, she keyed you?
Yeah, and this was like, I had literally bought that car 3 months prior.
Oh my God.
And it was a brand new car, my first brand new car ever. I was in love with the thing, and she keyed the side of it. So even to this day, like, I've tried everything. I've tried the paint pen. I've tried black wax because it's a black car.
Right.
And you can barely see it.
Yeah.
But you could definitely see somebody keyed my car at one point.
Jesus, what a psycho. And you're not on Facebook. She's a psycho. I'll just say it straight up. And again, I don't get how someone could throw a vase at you. Like, it's just something that you only see in movies. And you lived it.
It's very much a sitcom move.
Yeah. My God.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's pretty crazy.
And I have a lot of weird stories like that. It's like, what the fuck happened with this relationship?
Like, they just take I know, because with you, it's like, with all your breakups that I've kind of been around for, they always happen so fucking suddenly.
Yeah.
Like, just like, out of nowhere?
Yeah, maybe I'm doing something completely different and wrong, but
yeah,
it's news to me.
Stop being such a nice person. God damn it.
No.
One thing I want to bring up is your accidental sex tape. Can I call it that?
Yes.
I was trying to think of what to call it. I'm like, I think accidental sex tape is a good...
No, this is... that was a while ago. It actually involves one of the people that... from that dog story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay.
So I had met somebody. This was like... I want to say it's like 6 or 7 years ago.
This was before I knew you, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know you at this point.
Is before I knew a lot of my current friends. So I had met this person and we clicked. Only problem was the very next day she was moving out west.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck, what am I going to do? I really like this girl. So we started talking on Facebook and all this stuff. And would have been like a year later. This host, the same host that I met her at, they hosted a party for my birthday. And who shows up? She flew across the country to show up for my birthday.
Oh my god.
So it was on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like, yes, you can have my vagina. Yes.
So we got to talking, we got to drinking. I had a room set aside for me. This place, it was it's a split entry, so that you go in the main entrance and then you got the stairs going up, the stairs going down. The entire party was on the upstairs, and the downstairs was my buddy had turned it into an apartment.
Yeah.
And it was one of his buddies that was renting it.
Okay.
So they were just like, yeah, you can sleep down there, just don't make a mess.
Do they know that you're going to be getting busy down there? Or was it more of a, like, you can crash there?
I think multiple people were trying to set this up because
Right.
I was totally, like, high school crushing her.
Aww.
So that happened. And the very next day, the guy that was renting that place, who was out at sea, texts my buddy being like, hey, was anybody in my room? And they were like, well, yeah, just our buddy Ryan, but that was it. And he's like, oh, really? And then screenshot of me and her together.
So he had cameras in his room?
Very clearly, yeah.
Oh
So,
my god.
I guess he had a motion activated webcam in his room.
Oh my god, that's even worse.
And it caught the whole thing.
So it was video.
It was video.
So he had something that was showing him what was going on in his room while he was away?
I think...
Like, he could see it from...
I think him and his girlfriend liked to record.
Oh.
So, but it was also motion activated, so...
My god. Okay, so I have a couple questions about this. Did you see the screenshot?
I didn't see the screenshot, but what would happen is I didn't know about it until weeks later. And I was working at a mall in it was like the food court, but I was kind of like in a kiosk. It was a weird setup. It was Bedford or Sunnyside Mall.
Oh, in Bedford?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was working there, and I had a bunch of friends that also worked in that mall because everybody in their early 20s works in a mall.
Of course.
So my friends would show up and they would be like, stupid sexy Dunphy, because they've all seen that video and they couldn't picture anything but me naked.
Oh my god. I can't believe that you didn't see it though.
And that's the thing, is I didn't know anything about it. And it wasn't until I had gone out west to visit another friend that I found out.
Oh my god.
And I made a stopover in Calgary to see this person for an hour before going further to BC. And then I found out that that tape existed literally 3 days later. Jesus. And so I had to break it to her, and so what ended up happening, the tape is no more.
Did you destroy it with fire?
It was a condition for the person to get their damage deposit back that they destroy the tape.
Fair enough.
So I didn't see it. Some of my friends saw it.
It must have been a good fucking tape if people nicknamed you, what did they say, Sexy Dumpy?
You ever see that Simpsons episode with Ned Flanders in the ski suit, and Homer's just stupid sexy Flanders? They were basically doing that with me.
Stupid sexy Dumpy?
Yeah.
Oh, I still cannot imagine that, As if it was me, I'd be like, I don't know. That's the thing. I try to put myself in that situation. I'm like, yeah, I probably wouldn't want to see it either.
Yeah, I mean, I was young and dumb. I knew how I performed.
I'm giving a thumbs up and a thumbs down. And he's giving thumbs up. Okay, good stuff. Oh my god, that's funny. Wow. Motion activated. That's the kicker.
I didn't even know that was a thing. But apparently that's a thing.
So, like, it was probably off or, like, just, like, chilling.
Yeah.
And then stuff started happening. But even if you were... That's the thing. Even if you were down there alone, just sleeping or crashing, like, you would be moving around.
It'd just record me snoring all night.
Yeah. Holy shit. Like, what did the girl think? Was she devastated?
She actually stopped talking to me for like 3 years.
Oh my god.
It's only really around the advent of like Snapchat and stuff like that like we'll wish each other like happy birthday every so often, or like she'll send me a picture of like her dog.
Okay, so it's not that bad.
No, we got over it.
Right.
Like she's still at West, and then I mean like we don't really talk as frequently, but we still talk.
Right. Yeah. Right. Oh my lord, you've had a lot of breakups, my friend. What would you say? Oh, I don't know if you want to talk about your worst breakup. Or not. It might be able to.
That's probably the one before Vase Thrower. That was bad. That hit me at a rough time in my life, and
yeah,
you know, it was bad. And then I realized, oh, this person was also cheating on me, and I had no fucking idea. So
in a way, it's like this weird thing of like it sucked so bad, but you look back and you're like, well,
that's
for
one of
the
those,
best.
That's one of those things. Is like looking back, I'm like, why did I date her again? I was just fucking inconvenience to her. Fuck that bitch.
Yeah. And you never know when you're in it.
Yeah.
Because when you're in it, you're like so infatuated.
Yeah.
And I think too, it's like, I think both of us are people who like, we genuinely see the best in people. Like even if people give us signs, we're like, oh, well, you know, like they do all this other good stuff. So, I still like them.
I find as you get older, you get a lot better at picking up these things that...
Red flags.
Like, or the red flags, or the things that make you incompatible. And, like, person I'm seeing now, she's freaking great. And I haven't really seen any of that stuff. So I'm like, all right, things are looking good.
Things are good.
So,
do you want to briefly just mention this new situation?
Things are good.
You seeing a lady?
I'm seeing a lady. Things are good.
I talked about this on Jesse's episode, but like, you kids and your dating, I don't know how it works. Like, there's the dating stage, and then the seeing each other phase, and then the like exclusive phase if you're gonna go there.
We're exclusive.
Okay.
And we've removed single from our Facebook profiles.
Oh, okay. So you're not at the title, but you're not available.
Yes.
So you're getting there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're both.
And it's one of those things. I don't think we really care about making it Facebook official. Like, we know we're together, we're happy, so things are good.
And I think that those are like the best relationships.
Yeah.
The ones that aren't so like flaunty and like in your face, like, ooh, look at me, I have someone. Ooh. But you're both nerdy, would you say? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, here we go again. This comes up in a lot of podcasts about the nerdiness thing and the importance of meeting people who share your same interests.
Yeah, it's
friggin' important.
You gotta meet somebody that they share similar... They don't have to be the same interests. They could be similar interests. Because if you have all the same interests, shit gets boring.
It's exactly what Jesse and Sandra said.
And if you have similar interests, like... I read a comic book for the first time in like 10 years, like 2 weekends ago.
Right.
And I was like, shit, I actually enjoy this.
Yeah.
And it was the only reason I did that was because of her.
Uh-huh. So,
I mean, and these things happen.
Right.
She'll probably play a little bit more video games.
Yeah.
And...
Yeah. That's like the ideal situation. You want someone who they appreciate your interests and that they're willing to like not only do them because you're into them, but do them because you're open-minded about it. And that's the thing. Like, I hang out with a lot of nerdy people. I am not... I would call myself like an internet nerd. I don't think I'm nerdy in any other sense.
You like your reality shows and you like your...
Yeah. I'm a TV nerd. for sure. But like me as a girlfriend, like I haven't been a girlfriend in a long time, but when I was with my ex, like he would play like Fallout and shit, and I would fall asleep to that. Like not in a bad way, in a like, okay babe, like you play your video game, like, and I actually like, here's another thing too that we should bring up. I like watching people play video games. Ryan, you do a Twitch every now and then.
I do.
Yeah. And every now and then I've come on and I've been like, hi Ryan!
This is a video game, eh?
You're playing a video game. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but hi.
Yeah, and that's one of those things like, I started doing it just because I really love the like Legend of Zelda games. I got the new Nintendo Switch and I was playing that, and it was one of those things I had gone in expecting to share this game with people because it holds a special spot in my heart.
Of course, you have tattoos of it.
Yeah, I got a giant tattoo on my arm.
And I've had a lot of people actually tell me who know you, be like, Ryan has the best tattoos.
Oh, thank you.
Because I even really like them.
I mean, like, I nitpick them, and everybody's going to nitpick their own tattoos. Like, I can point at a couple spots that I'm like, oh, I wish that was different, but when it comes down to it, nobody notices.
Right. Do you just have the one sleeve?
I just have this, and then I have a tattoo on my back.
Are you going to get any more?
Probably.
Do you have any ideas what they might?
Probably.
Are they video game related?
Yeah, no, I've got a couple video game related ones that I want to do, and then there's like Star Wars, and then there's one that I want to get with my brother, but that's a video game related one. It's one of those things where you find all these things that you're interested in, and if you're really into tattoos, you want to get them all, but it's just picking out what you want and making sure you don't hate it.
Yeah, you're like, I know it has to do with this. Then you got to figure out what it is exactly. You got to figure out the placement.
Yeah.
And the size.
And that's the thing is the placement is the hardest part. Like, I would have never got a sleeve, but one day I was super spontaneous and I got just the Zelda life bar on my wrist.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
It stayed like that for like almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I mean, I got it done at the Forum of all places.
Was it like a tattoo?
Yeah, it's the tattoo expo or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So I got that there because there was this guy from the US that had no customers because he was just a random dude that came in.
And no one knew him.
And so I flipped through his art and I was like, I really like this. Or I really like your style. And I brought a tablet with me and I was like flipping through pictures that I liked and I picked one and went from there.
And was that your first one?
No, that's my second one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, sometimes those impromptu tattoos have the best. Like, I have an anchor on my ankle, and I decided to get that just one day. Yeah.
And that was it.
It's tiny, it's not that big.
I had not expected to get a tattoo that day.
No.
And definitely didn't expect to get a tattoo. Very visible tattoo on my wrist literally 3 weeks after I got my first 9-to-5 like office job.
That's true.
Especially where like the next week I found out that one of the higher ups in my company made one of the girls cry because she was showing a bit of her wrist tattoo.
What? So what did you do then? Did you tell them about it? Did you try to hide it?
It's not like I can erase it.
Of course, yeah, no, that's true. They just never...
Yeah.
It was never an issue?
No, not really. I mean, I generally wear long sleeves at work anyways. Like, when I started at work, they switched to a summer dress policy, which is basically like, wear what you want.
You can wear t-shirts.
You can wear t-shirts, you can wear jeans, anything like that. Right. And I was like, cool, I'll do this for the summer. And I wore long sleeve shirts because it was freezing in our office. So I wore long sleeve shirts, and when I left for the day, I just rolled my sleeves up.
Right.
So nobody really saw the tattoos. They might see like the little points of the hearts. That's about it.
Yeah. Nice.
But then years later, I was just like, cool, I'm going to turn that into a sleeve. So I did Legend of Zelda on the inside of my arm. I did my other favorite game, Mega Man, on the outside, and
man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're colorful.
Yeah. I mean, I've had them for, it actually came up in my Facebook memories. It came up that 3 years ago is when I got my first session.
Crazy.
So.
Nuts. I think if, and I'm going to put this on the record, if I'm still doing this podcast and I get to episode, what's a good number? So this would be episode 7.
50.
I was going to say 100, but I guess 50 would be like a year if I do an episode a week.
If you do one episode a week,
Okay, at episode 50, I'm going to get some sort of podcast tattoo.
Get your logo.
I could get my logo. I could get like a little microphone, maybe.
Yeah.
If I get to 50 episodes, and I think I will.
I think so.
Mark my words. It's here right now. I'm going to get the tattoo. It might happen. It might happen. We're going to switch it up, though. We're going to play a game really quick.
Uh-oh.
We are going to play... Because I think I know you pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you think you know me pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's test it out. So we're going to play 2 truths and a lie.
All right.
So you have I wrote down... You did 9, right? Like
so
groups of 3?
Yeah. I've got 3 sets.
Right. Same. Okay. So, yeah. So why don't you go first? So you're going to read your 3 facts. One of them is a lie.
Okay.
And I'll have to figure out which one the lie is.
All right. First one. I've been in a cooking competition. I've never made craft dinner. I spent a year as a pastry chef.
Oh my God. Okay.
Which one's the lie?
There's no way you've never made craft dinner. Like, I feel like you might have thrown that in there to make it seem like it would be the lie. Because it's so outrageous. But it's not. Unless you're too snobby to make... That's the other thing, too. You might be too snobby to make craft dinner. Because knowing Ryan, he'd be like...
fuck you too, bitch.
I wanna make homemade craft dinner. Because I know you could probably make a mean homemade craft dinner.
I don't mean to brag, but yes.
But who in their life hasn't made fucking craft dinner? Pastry chef. Ooh.
Do you want me to read them all 3 again, or?
I think I know them all. So you were in a cooking competition. You were a pastry chef. Did you say for a year?
For a year.
And then you've never made craft dinner. I could see you being a pastry chef, but maybe not for a full year. I'm gonna pick that as a lie.
The lie was I've been in a cooking competition.
Ah.
And it's kind of a half truth. I never participated in a cooking competition, but I worked behind the scenes.
Oh, which one?
It's just one of, like, the NSCC has cooking competitions a couple times a year.
Okay.
And it was one of those things
sense.
where, like, I'd be helping out behind the scenes and doing a bunch of different stuff. And
okay. And you were a pastry chef for a year?
Yeah.
And you've never made okay, explain yourself, boy.
I've never made what?
Craft dinner?
So...
Oh, God.
That's one of those things is growing up, because we didn't have a lot of money, we had it a lot. And because of that, I hated it.
So you had it made for you?
Yes.
Okay.
And because I hated it, I moved out and I never made it. I can make craft dinner type stuff. Yeah. Or I can make like a good mac and cheese and take just about as much time. Maybe it'll cost a couple dollars extra, but... Right, but you were so sick of it. Yeah. It's the same... I can get that. It's the same reason I don't like Campbell's tomato soup. My jaw's on the ground right now because that's like my favorite fucking soup. You just had it a lot growing up? Yeah. On the other hand, I had Campbell's chicken noodle soup tons of times when I was growing up, and I fucking love it. Weird. To this day. It must just be that. It's so... Humans are weird. Yeah. It's one of those things. It's maybe my parents were making KD really badly. Right, that's true. How the fuck would I know? Because I'm like 8. And you mentioned the idea of making KD with that fancy cheese that I am now obsessed with, the Boursin cheese. Yeah. That would be fucking delightful. Yeah, you take like, you don't even need friggin' elbow macaroni because it's like an abomination of a pasta, but throw some penne and some good cheese and some cream and stuff together and you're good. Nom nom. Now I really want homemade mac cheese. That's gonna have to happen soon. All right. So mine. Ready? Yeah, I'm ready. So I used to go to church every Sunday. Mm-hmm. I had my first kiss at the age of 14. Mm-hmm. I used to coach soccer. I don't think you used to coach soccer. You don't think? I don't think so.
I don't strike you as athletic.
You strike
type.
me as athletic, but I don't think you used to coach soccer.
The lie is that I had my first kiss at age 14. I did used to coach soccer.
Oh, fuck.
But I knew nothing about it really. So I used to play soccer when I was really young. And then when I was like in high school, like you could potentially coach. I coached like really young kids. Like, so I wasn't that good, but I coached it. Yeah. I think that's something.
When
not
was
a lot
the
of
first
people
kiss though? Was
know.
it like
first kiss was
23?
Like age 17. No, I was 17. That's pretty late for a first kiss. Like when did you have yours? 5.
No.
You're such a heartbreaker.
No. It would have been the summer between junior high and high school, whenever that was.
Okay. Like
I don't know what
grade, like 7? Grade 6 or 7?
No, it would have been grade 9.
Oh, junior high or high school. Oh, right. Not elementary.
No, you know what? It would have been around the same time.
Oh, okay.
Around 17.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I've always felt like a late bloomer.
16, 17.
I feel like everyone has had their first kiss like really young, and I have always felt like I was a late.
I was just shy as fuck. So.
Yay. You got more for me?
Yeah. All right. I've refereed a paintball tournament. I've dressed as a superhero for charity. I was an extra in a romantic comedy.
Oh my god! What? Could definitely see you reffing the paintball. Mm-hmm. I think that's fact. Extra. Or dressed as a superhero for charity. Okay, I think... Because you just talked about dressing up as Ant-Man for charity. That doesn't necessarily mean that you've done it before. You could be just planning on doing that in the future, and you might not have done it before. And the romantic comedy thing seems ridiculous, but it could also be a fact that you threw in there and make... I'm going to say the charity thing.
It was a romantic comedy.
Damn it! I should have went with my gut on that. That was a lie?
Yeah.
Damn it! You would have been a great extra in a romantic comedy.
There was a time where I'd considered doing it for like just being an extra for extra money.
It would be amazing.
And it's a thing that you can do around here, but
yeah,
I got lazy.
Yeah. Okay. So you. Okay. Yeah.
So I did.
You have dressed up.
I have dressed up as a superhero for charity.
Yeah. Which one? Which superhero?
I dressed up as Batman, but the Batman that's in the armor, like the new Batman. It was actually this time last year.
Oh, okay.
It's for that same event that I'm going to on the 30th.
Yeah.
And that was what started off hey, I should do this more often.
Awesome. Yeah, Ryan's going to try to get me into some volunteer work with HellCon. Yeah. So I can potentially meet new people. It'd be a good way to meet new people for sure. Mm-hmm. You've made a lot of friends through it.
My current lady friend.
Current lady friend. I like the word lady friend. All right. I'm going to get sexy with this one.
Oh, no.
I've had a threesome.
Uh-huh.
I've had sex in a car.
Uh-huh.
I've had sex in costume.
Now, are we talking like the devil's three-way, or are we talking like...
Any three-way. I'm not being specific.
Sex in a car.
And sex in costume. So one of those is a lie.
So you strike me as the type of person that would have sex in some sort of costume. But
some sort of costume.
Is that where... Did you do that with the Wonder Woman costume?
You gotta pick your lie first before I can tell that story.
I think the lie is the three-way.
You're correct. Ding, ding, ding. Got it.
To be fair, the logistics of a three-way are way too complicated for any mere mortal.
I've had many opportunities to. Actually, I've had opportunities to do it with people that you and I both know.
I know.
And I've like a couple of different friend situations, but I've just been like, you need the perfect dynamic for that. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like you need to do it with people that you're not too close with, but not strangers. Mm-hmm. Like people you know enough to know they're not going to murder you, but like,
or throw a vase
that you don't you're not like that close with either, that it's weird kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the lie is the three-way.
Mm-hmm.
The sex and the costume thing was not Wonder Woman, actually, although I did travel to Dartmouth to have sex So I was actually at a Helicon event dressed as Wonder Woman. It was the Time Travelers Ball, like a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Fair, like back when I was living on English Street.
Mm-hmm.
And, no, was it English? No, I was living here. It was when I first moved into our old building. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I actually had to Dartmouth in costume to get laid, but I didn't have sex in the costume. Like, the costume came off. But the costume that I did bang in was Snow White.
Huh.
And which is interesting.
I could see that being somebody's fantasy.
Yeah, that was. And oddly enough, like, of all the costumes that I have in my closet, it was requested. Like, Snow White was
Please, let me go through
requested. Let me pick which one I want to come all over. Essentially.
Jesus.
Yeah. You got one more?
I got one more.
One more set.
All right. I've lost 2 weeks of memories after a head injury. I have a video game on the Walking Dead website. I built my dining room table.
Okay, I know the Walking Dead thing is correct.
Damn it.
Because I remember that.
Right.
And that's fucking awesome. What was the last one?
I built my dining room table.
Oh man, that's fucking hard because you're a handyman and you make so much stuff. It would make sense that you would make your table. I'm gonna say the head injury. Oh God, was it the table that was the lie?
The table was the lie.
No!
I built my coffee table.
God damn.
Yeah, I lost 2 weeks worth of memories doing something very stupid.
Oh God, what was it?
So back in the day, I used to work 2 jobs. So I was working at a gourmet grocery store thing, and then I was also working at a golf course. And because of that, I was doing like 16-hour days, and sometimes I would do 16-hour days for 8 to 10 days in a row.
Right.
And one of the days I had something that I had to be in for super early at the golf course, and the guys were just like, let's get you up to your car and this is all so I've been told, because I don't remember.
What?
So they were like, let's get you up to your car, you can drive home, get a good sleep, and then come back in the morning. And I was like, all right. We had a golf cart that we would use to do garbage runs and run to the deep freeze, which was in the cart barn and all that stuff. And we were driving up to my car. Everybody was in the golf cart, and I was driving. And one of the guys, so I'm told, said, tuck and roll. So me being super tired from not having sleep was like, okay, took my foot off the gas, jumped out the side of the golf cart.
What? Wait, okay, he was just fucking with you?
Yeah.
He just said tuck and roll?
Yeah.
And you thought that meant like this car's like...
No. I was just like, oh, okay. Because we were pretty much at my car.
Oh my God.
And so,
that's hilarious.
I remember little pieces of memories. So I remember them showing something I had written 20 minutes prior. It was my schedule from my other job for the week, saying, because I was like, well, guys, before I go home, I got to give you my schedule, because after that, they took me back into the kitchen to make sure I was okay.
Right.
And I was repeating myself, blanking out and everything like that. So I was like, well, I got to give you guys my schedule for next week. And they're like, dude, you already did. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? You guys are crazy. And they give me this piece of paper that has my schedule for the next week, and it's in my handwriting. And I'm like, I didn't write this, but it's my handwriting.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Did you guys learn my handwriting?
Did you forge this? That's crazy.
So at that point, they were like, yep, we need to get him to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. I had CAT scan and all that stuff. And I had called my parents as the server was driving. One of our servers was driving me to the hospital. And
oh my God.
I was like telling the same joke over and over again and laughing like it was the first time I heard it. And I had updated my Facebook status with like the exact same thing 4 times, but like slight variations of it.
Oh my God.
So I fucked up.
Was it a concussion?
Oh, yeah. It was like a major
So
concussion.
you can actually lose... Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And my short-term memory still to this day isn't as good.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Yeah, it was messed up.
Closest I've come to a concussion was when I opened a cab door and hit myself in the head with it. I remember doing the test for the concussion, which is like they get you to do all this stuff with your eye movement and shit.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're fine. But I've heard many stories about people who have concussions and like they're just not quite the same afterwards.
Yeah.
Like
my short-term memory isn't as good anymore. I used to have like, it wasn't photographic, but it was pretty damn good memory.
Yeah.
And now if I can commit something to long-term memory, I've got it.
Right.
Otherwise,
shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's crazy. All right. My last one.
All
You've
right.
done your 3, right?
I've done my 3.
All right. Oh, okay. So first one is that I've never cheated on anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Second one, I don't know why I'm numbering them. I was once caught drinking at a school dance.
Who hasn't?
I was in the back of a cop car twice. 2 different times.
I think it's the school dance.
Why do you think that? You don't think I was
The reason I think you were in the back of a cop car twice, I don't think you were actually arrested. I think you knew a cop as a child.
Interesting. So you're correct. The lie was the school dance one. I actually never drank until I was... I never did the underage drinking thing, which a lot of people do. My dad was a Supreme Court judge.
Yeah.
So I had like a fucking curfew and like I could never go to parties. And I had my first drink I think the month before I turned 19. So technically I guess I drank once underage. But not bad considering the cop car thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never knew a cop as a kid or anything. But once was when I got the fine for crossing the railroad tracks.
Oh. Did they actually put you in the car for that?
I was like filling out like paperwork or something.
Oh, okay.
Like it was like they were like getting my information, but they told me to go in the car.
Yeah.
The other one is a story for another time. But it was, I'll just say it was a fight with a friend that got out of hand, in which, I'll tell that sometime. That was a dark time, but yeah, I was in the back of the car.
Next time I'm on.
Yeah, right? Never cheated on anyone, though.
Good.
Have you?
Back when I was in high school, I had this girl that I was on and off with, and we ended up being on and off for like 4 years, like high school and then early college. And I don't know if we ever actually cheated on each other, but there were a lot of gaps where we were quote quote broken up, but then would be back together the next night.
Rachel and Ross situation.
Yeah. So that's the closest I've come.
Would you rather get cheated on or do the cheating?
I don't want to do either.
Right? But say gun to your head. And say that...
I want to... I mean, being in the situation where I have been cheated on in a few cases, I would almost say that because I don't ever want to feel like I'm betraying somebody that fucking much. Yeah. So I would say probably get cheated on.
It would be... It's interesting because I think a lot of people will have that same mentality of like, well, I've done it before, so I could probably do it again. I cheated on thing.
I don't want to betray somebody's trust that badly. Like, that's not me.
No, fuck no. No, you're a super nice guy.
Thanks.
Yeah, Ryan's one of the nicest guys that I know. And that's a compliment. I don't know why. I don't know why it would be otherwise. You're so nice.
Thanks for clarifying that. It was a compliment.
Ryan's like the type that you would call late at night. Like,
whoa.
If you needed something, his number is da da da. No, I'm just joking. But no, good. And actually, it's funny. Karen and Eve, who were in episode 2, I think they told you this. I think you already know. But they said that if they could have a sperm donor, it would be Ryan.
Well, they're just after my genes.
What do you think of that?
I'm honored.
Don't look on your face.
I really hadn't put much thought into it before that point.
You're
and
like,
I was like, well,
I could help someone.
And that's the thing. They're in love. They're in a great spot.
Yeah.
And for them to think that highly of me,
yeah.
it's honestly really flattering.
Well,
but
yeah.
Like, I mean, there's gonna be a little Ryan out there.
Yeah, isn't that mind-boggling?
That's yeah.
It would be weird. Like, it would be weird to like, because you'd want to help people. Like, I think. But at the same time, you'd be like, well, I have a kid out there. Like,
I think the person I was dating before this person would have had a lot to say about it in the negative. I kind of told her about it, and she didn't seem as enthusiastic about it as I was.
Really?
So.
About the idea of being a sperm donor?
Yeah.
I think if I were to ever donate eggs or... that would be like the female equivalent, right? Yeah. You can give eggs to someone. I don't think... You could
also be the surrogate too, where you can carry the egg and sperm from the other people's.
Right.
In the case of like people that are infertile. Right.
And that's another thing too. I think I would do that if I was kind of at a point in life where I'm like, okay, well, I don't have a partner. If I wanted to be a mom, I'd probably adopt, but like just to have the experience of being pregnant, and I think it would be kind of cool. But at the same time, I don't know if I'd want to know them so much. Like, I think I'd want to do the closed thing where I don't really have contact, because I wouldn't want to be close with the kid and just be like the whole time, I'm your... Well, I guess, no, I wouldn't be the mom.
What up? I'm your daddy.
I housed you. I'm not your mother, but I housed you for 9 months.
I mean, you were technically roommates for 9 months.
Yeah. Very close roommates. Do you want to have kids? Like when you're at some point?
It's one of those things where I don't feel like it's a decision I should make myself.
Hell no, yeah.
It's one of those things where you get with somebody and you decide that together.
Yeah. It should be based on that.
I mean, that's where I stand. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to spending a life without kids and just having a stupid amount of money in a sports car. Mm-hmm. But if I ever do have a kid, I'm gonna be the best dad I possibly can be. But that's about it.
Yeah, you'd be a great dad.
I'd be that dad that like has all of the skills. Like, it's typical like open this jar for me and then fix this stereo.
Oh my god, you would. You'd put them in stuff right away too. I think you'd want to get them into to shit right away.
Yeah, that's one of those things where like when I was young, I played baseball for a little bit, but I wasn't that great at it, and I didn't really like it.
Right.
But if my family would have put me into something like music or drawing classes, I would have loved it.
Yeah.
And because these things are so much harder to pick up as an adult.
Yeah.
Like, I have a bass guitar sitting at home, I have an acoustic guitar sitting at home, and I just don't use them because it's a lot of work.
I, as a kid, quit everything I was in. Like, if I was ever in a class, I've taken gymnastics, guitar lessons, choir, like, I've taken so many things and I've quit them all. So I think if you, like, instill that skill into kids at a young age of, like, practice and, you know, time management and, like, all that, like,
and it's one of those things where, especially a lot of the arts are harder to learn when you're older.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because your brain's still developing or if it's because you've got more time as a kid or what, but like
you're busier too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm busy. Yeah. No, this was awesome. Thanks, Ryan. We'll wrap it up.
Alrighty.
Yeah, give me another cheers here, man. This drink, let me tell you, is so unique.
It's smooth. You don't get that like the harshness of like rum.
No. Yeah, it's delightful. And you get so many different flavors too. Like every time I sip it, I'm like, oh, I'm picking up a new flavor. But yeah, thanks, Ryan. And any final words for the podcast? Go to HalCon, everyone.
Yeah, go to HalCon.
What are the HalCon dates?
It's September 22nd to 24th. Tickets go on sale May 18th at 7 o'clock.
Woo, perfect. Everyone go to HalCon. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. Ooh, clever outro.